Merry Christmas, everybody, from Doc Lil Talks Comics. I just wanted to go through the books that I picked up this week, and hopefully you guys all had a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. But let's go ahead and dig into these books. All right. So, the first book that I picked up this week was Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue 4 of 10, written by Jeff Loeb with art by Cliff Chang and colors by Dave Stewart. So, we're still continuing where we picked up from the last issue with the Falcons, and Batman has been injured rather badly, but he knows how to get himself back home to get healed up. The artwork by Cliff Chang here it's right on tap with exactly what I think Tim Sale would have been trying to do in the same instance. We have the rebirth of Solomon Grundy, and then the saving of Gilda Dent. So this story is moving at the perfect pace. Not at a breakneck pace, not at a slow pace, but exactly where it needs to be. That's why I love Jeff Loeb on Batman, because he has an understanding of these characters and a respect for these characters that goes beyond most mortal, modern writers. He's a god among men as far as writing Batman. And he understands what makes Batman tick. Here, Batman shows how important Alfred is to him. He can't do the things that he does without Alfred. So he said, thank you. So we have this continuation of a copycat killer that people think is the Calendar Man, but the Calendar Man is actually locked up in Arkham Asylum. So Robin goes there to try to get answers, runs into Catwoman, and you'll have to read the rest yourself in order to see how the things progress from here. But I think this is one of the best Batman stories I've ever read, because, like I said, you just get a classic feel. It's almost like a Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams type of feel with this story, that it is who Batman is. No, you can't have that key. You cannot have it. Now I can't get it off my finger. But it's got that classic Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil feel, where this is the Dark Knight detective, but he's not afraid to use his fist as well. So I would have to say that this was probably my pick of the week. And if you're not reading this, there's still time to go pick up the first 3 issues, and issue 4 just came out this week. All right. Next up, we have Absolute Wonder Woman issue 3. And I have to say, this is the only Absolute book so far that I've picked up the 3rd issue of. I did not pick up Absolute Batman issue 3 because the 2nd issue just left me cold. I didn't get anywhere. But this is by Kelly Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman, and I believe it's colors by Jordi Belair. So we still have this Tetracide monster attacking the city where Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor are. But we also get some backstory on how Wonder Woman became the person that she is. So you've got an intriguing story here. You've got a sacrifice to protect somebody that she loves. You've got... Hang on. Percy's being extra today. Aren't you, Percy? Aren't you being extra? You've got a monster trying to destroy an entire city. And it's going to destroy it in 4 levels. And the first level is going to emit a sound that is going to pretty much drive everybody to come to it. It's like a siren call. But she's trying to figure out how to destroy this creature when she realizes it's above her. It's above her power set. She's not really meant to deal with something this big and this bad. But she decides she's going to do it anyway because she's got to save humanity. And that's why she saved Steve Trevor in the first place, was to save... She knew he was a good man, and in order to save humanity, she had to save Steve Trevor. So it's a very classic Wonder Woman tale with all of the original elements. She's in love with Steve Trevor. They're, pretty much star-crossed lovers. They're meant to be together. And she trusts his judgment to save all of these other people. So it's really a good book. I have to say, I'm not the greatest Kelly Thompson fan, but I also have to say that this is, to me, the strongest of all three of the Absolute books that have come out so far. So if you hadn't checked this out, go pick it up at your LCS. I'm sure there won't be a trade until there's issue 6, either 5 or 6, but I'm actually digging this. All right, next up is the Autumn Kingdom issue 4 of 4. And all I'm going to say about this is it's got a twist ending, but I will also say that it brings so much breadth and depth to this story. It creates an understanding of exactly how dangerous mortals can be in the pursuit of information, in the pursuit of what they want, what they say they want. You've got this king here who was once very mighty, and he fell due to a mortal woman choosing power and lusting after power. So you learn about how the world of fae and fairies and all of these imaginary creatures that were brought together in Summer and Winter's father's mind as a writer. You learn how they have fought back against humans over the years, because the humans have come and they've wrought destruction, and they've sought power where power was available. But in this whole story, you have the two sisters who just want to find their mother and father. So it's a familial story. It's a story about, hey, these people, we love these people, we care for these people, and they care for us, and we're going to find them, or we're going to save them. So it's extremely well done. The artwork by Christopher Mitten is just top notch. It brings together not really horror, but a sense of dread, along with an understanding that love is transformative and that we can become so much more in the pursuit of trying to save somebody or help somebody that we truly care about. So that is one of the best miniseries that I've ever read. And spoiler alert, it's only part 1. All right, next to last book I picked up this week is Amazing Spider-Man 64, written by Justina Ireland, with art by Gleb Melnikov and colors by Marcino Menez. Here we have the continuation of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, and I really like the Melnikov artwork, but I'm starting to realize, as I've gotten older, I'm 43 now, and I started reading comics when I was 9, but I'm starting to realize that sometimes you just do have filler runs. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not the worst thing that I've ever read, but it doesn't have any substance to it. Peter is trying to get past these characters, these scions of Cyttorak, but at the same time, you don't really see... There's action in this issue when he faces this first scion, but at the end of it, he's just pretty much beating this guy over and over and over, and the guy refuses to yield. But at the same time, there's not any movement, any substance to this. It's just beat him up and then move on to the next character that he has to face. Now, the artwork is, like I said, top-notch, and I'd love to see Melnikov come on the next series. And I will talk about my thoughts on Joe Kelly becoming the new writer on ASM, and the fact that Pepe Larraz is coming on board as artist with John Romita Jr. staying on every so often. But it's not a terrible book. It's not, I don't want to throw it in the trash, but it's soulless and it doesn't speak to me. So I'm kind of hoping to get this over with quickly, and I think April is when we have our new number 1. So let's go ahead and push this thing through to issue 70 and then start over with number 1 and keep moving. All right, and the last book I picked up this week was Void Rivals, issue 15 by Robert Kirkman, Lorenzo De Felici, and Patricio Del Pech. And this reunites Hot Rod with Springer. We also have other characters like Skuxoid still going around. This book is a love letter to Transformers, as much as Daniel Warren Johnson's book is a love letter to Transformers. You get to see the classic G1 characters mixing with these characters from Zerta and the other planet that I've forgotten in the Sacred Ring. And along the way, you get to see, they say that the Transformers have been around for millions of years in the G1 cartoon. But you've never really understood any other societies that they might have meshed with or met over the years. And this brings 2 of those societies together. And it's just good. It's got weight, it's got substance, it's everything that ASM was not. ASM is a superhero book, I get that. But this is also just characters. These are big giant robots, 18, 30-foot tall robots. They shouldn't have such an intriguing backstory. But Robert Kirkman has gone all in on this, just like he did with the early issues of The Walking Dead, and created these characters and breathed life into them. So, Void Rivals, I am so glad that I kept up with this book. I thought about dropping it around issue 6 or issue 7, but I am glad that I've continued to read this because it's always one of my favorites that it's on the pile when it comes out. Alright guys, so thanks for checking out the video. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday. And hey, here's to New Year, here's to new books. And I've got a video later on. I got one of the coolest, hands down, one of the coolest things I have ever gotten as a present in my entire life. And I just can't stop smiling about it. And my wife is absolutely T-tops, the A-tops, 100%. The greatest wife that has ever been on the face of God's green earth. And I'm going to do a short little video about that in just a little while, but I'm getting some nasty looks from this same lovely woman right now telling me that breakfast is ready, so I'm about to go get some breakfast, and I will do a video on this other thing here very shortly. Thanks for joining me, guys. It's been a great year. It's been a wonderful time talking about these comics with y'all, and I can't wait to see what 2025 has got in store for both Doc Lil Talks Comics and the comics industry in general. So hit me in the comments below. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I will talk to you very, very shortly.